Hello, this is Yogeshwar 7000 again, and I'm back with my series on stories from the Puranas. And today we'll be talking about a very, very important topic. And like I always mention in my videos, that all my videos are a direct reference to the ancient scriptures. So I will request you to have firm faith and belief in it. And today, like I said, it's going to be a very important topic, interesting topic. And why important is because it discusses in detail about the gunas. And as we know that there are three gunas, and which is the sattva-guna, the rajasic guna, or in Sanskrit, if you pronounce it rajasic, that's how it's pronounced in Sanskrit, but you know, the people from the West, they call it rajasic. And then the third guna is tamasic guna. And all living creatures in this universe have these three gunas in them. Okay, and then of course there are different opinions on what a guna is, and from an astrological point of view it may be different. But today we're talking about very specifically what has been mentioned in the Puranas about those gunas. What do they mean? What are the characteristics? And that is as per what Lord Brahma has mentioned it to the Deva Rishi, the rishi of, or the sage of the gods, sage Narada. Okay, people in the West call him Narada, whatever, but the real pronunciation is Narada. So today we'll be talking about these three gunas as explained by Lord Brahma to sage Narada, which is coming directly from the Puranas. It's not out of any kind of a story which is published either on the internet or on paper. Okay, so what does Lord Brahma tell Lord Narada about these gunas? Based on Narada's question, of course, because Narada was asking him these questions. So what Brahma said, or what Lord Brahma said, that the sattva-guna is the source of pleasure and happiness. Okay, and when happiness comes, everything seems extremely delightening. Okay, so that's what our ultimate aim is, to be delighted, to be happy all the time, in spite of all these material things which we are enjoying in this present day and age, like, you know, exotic electronics and internets and cars and vacations and clothes and you name it, cruises. Whatever we are enjoying right now, it's not the source of real happiness, and that's what the Puranas tell us, and that's why it's so important. So the sattva guna, as explained by Lord Brahma, is when happiness comes, real happiness comes, when real pleasure and happiness comes, and everything seems so delightening. Okay, the other characteristic of sattva guna is when integrity, which is very absent in the Kali Yuga, present day and age, of course, truthfulness, all these things are very absent. You know, they're dwindling. They were there in the earlier ages, but slowly as we move along Kali Yuga, these are dwindling. But that's what Lord Brahma is saying. When integrity, truthfulness, cleanliness, faith, forgiveness, mercy, peace, and contentment. The man may make billions of dollars, but he's not contented. Okay, that's right opposite of the sattva guna. So sattva guna is about integrity, truthfulness, cleanliness, faith, forgiveness, mercy, peace, and contentment. When they arise in somebody's heart, okay, that's what Lord Brahma says. Know certainly that he has sattva guna in that man. So one should ask oneself, I mean, I'll recommend whoever is watching this video, please ask yourself, do you have this feeling of integrity, truthfulness, cleanliness, faith, forgiveness, mercy, peace, and contentment in your heart. If there is, then there is a good amount of sattva-guna in yourself. Okay. Now, Lord Brahma also talks about the color of sattva. Okay. And he very clearly says that the color of sattva quality is white. Okay. Now that doesn't mean whatever is white in your home, or you paint the house white, or your walls in your house white, it will be sattva-guna. But he is trying to connect it with the color of purity and all these qualities and characteristics which Lord Brahma just described. The color of sattva quality is white. Okay. And a sattvic person who has sattva quality will always like religion, and he will always discard his tendencies towards bad objects. Okay, it's like a rishi. So try to imagine, I mean, that's pure sattva, that we are normal human beings living in society. But if these qualities are present, try to come to some kind of a conclusion that you have sattva-guna quality in yourself. Okay, then Lord Brahma tells sage Narada again that the quality of rajas, which is the second guna, so first is the sattva-guna, and he has described the characteristics and the color. Then Lord Brahma is explaining the rajas guna, and he says that the rajas is of red color. Once again, don't just watch at any red colored object and say, okay, well, it's rajasic. No, or rajasic. No. Basically, he's trying to connect it with a color and based on the characteristics. And Lord Brahma says, well, rajas is also wonderful, but it's not pleasant. It is the source of all kinds of troubles. Okay, he has explained. Sattva is completely pure, no troubles, complete contentment. But then rajas, the color is red. It's nice, it's wonderful, but it's not really pleasant, and it's the source of all troubles. Okay. Now, how to determine whether the rajas quality is predominant in a person? That's a question. Now, the rajasic quality means it is filled with a little hatred, not deep hatred, but some kind of a hatred and enmity, and that could arise out of jealousy or any kind of negative feeling within you. Some quarrelsome feeling, you like to quarrel with people, get into arguments, some kind of an arrogance and pride. Okay. Sleeplessness, very important. Sleeplessness is one characteristics which comes with the rajasic quality, which is of red color. Okay. And egoism and arrogance also very, very important. So although it's nice, Lord Brahma says, but it still, can cause all kinds of troubles. And finally, Lord Brahma tells sage Narada that the quality of tamas, which is the tamas-guna, the third guna, tamas. So the first is sattvic, or the sattva quality, or the sattva-guna. The second is rajas-guna, which is red. And the third is tamas-guna, and Lord Brahma has associated it with black color. Okay, that doesn't mean if you wear black t-shirt you become tamasic or with tamas quality, but he's trying to relate it to a color once again. Okay, I'm making it very clear. So the quality of tamas is of black color as per Lord Brahma. And these are the characteristics which come with tamas. Laziness. So you'll see that laziness is not associated with either sattva-guna or rajas-guna. Why rajas is not lazy? Because rajas is about making money, action. How can he be lazy? But from tamas, you become lazy. Okay, you become completely ignorant. So lack of knowledge and intelligence when you are overwhelmed, or that is the characteristic of tamas-guna. So laziness, ignorance, and knowledge and lack of knowledge. Sleep. too much sleep. Of course, we all need sleep, but too much sleep. People you'll see will, sleeping too much, very lazy. That is tamas-guna, which is black in color. Okay, poverty. Poverty is also directly related to tamas. Why? Because rajas is associated with wealth. It's about creating wealth. And with sattva-guna, it's contentment, happiness. But here, tamas also is associated with poverty. Okay? Fear. People who are very fearful. People who are extremely quarrelsome. Of course, rajas has some kind of a quarrelsome quality as well, but people who are always wanting an opportunity to get into quarrels. People who are extremely miser. Okay? People who are very, very angry. Okay? There's a little anger in rajas also because it comes with egoism and arrogance, but not the kind of anger tamas has. Tamas is always ready to blow up. All right, violence and finding fault with others. Okay, so laziness, ignorance, too much sleeping, being too lazy. Poverty also is associated. Too much fearsome. You'll see people, they get fear, they get the feeling of fear all the time. If something little happens, a sattvic person is going to be calm. A rajasic person is going to look at another angle and try to find out ways to go around it. But tamas, extremely, he can get extremely angry all of a sudden, in an instant, in a second. He can get extremely fearsome. He can get into fearsome immediately. In a second he can get very fearsome, extremely miser, extremely quarrelsome, at the drop of a hat. Such kind of people. Very violent, always finding fault with others. All these negative qualities, they come with the guna of tamas, and that's coming directly from the Puranas. Okay, as mentioned by Lord Brahma to sage Narada. Okay, so the wise, he says, should think that tamas has overpowered him when he has these qualities in him: laziness, ignorance, sleep, poverty, very fearsome in an instant, very quarrelsome and immediately in an instant, very miser, very insincere, very angry, at the drop of a hat, very violent and always finding fault with people. Then a person should think, well, tamas, the quality of tamas or the guna of tamas has overpowered him. Okay, and one distinctive quality of tamas is that he will always be a source of pain to others. Okay, always. People around him will be unhappy, his environment is going to be negative, and he'll be a source of pain. He'll not be a source of happiness to others. Like the sattvic guna, people will give happiness and contentment to himself and people around him. Like the rajasic guna, people will be, having some negative qualities, but overall, they're about creation, about wealth. So they can get some kind of a happiness, and also people around him are also going to be, at least money wise and creation wise, they'll be happy. But tamas is completely becomes, the tamas quality completely gives pain to others, and himself first, and also people who are around him or who are related to him. Okay, so what Lord Brahma is saying, that one should bring inside himself the sattva qualities, which gives contentment and real happiness, real pleasure. He should control the rajasic qualities, because too much rajas, or creation of wealth and creation and happiness and enjoyment, that also should be controlled. Okay, and completely destroy the tamasic qualities. Okay. However, Lord Brahma has also mentioned that the three qualities are always found to be intermingled with another. See the screen, on the screen you see the color white, which is representative of sattvic, the color red, which is representative of rajasic, and the color black, which is representative of tamasic. These three qualities are going to be always intermingled. You see these three are overlapping each other on the screen. Okay, but we have to keep fighting that, increase the sattva qualities, control the rajasic qualities and completely destroy the tamasic qualities. That should be the objective of any kind of a human. Okay, because a human brain, a human mind, a human being has a brain, and maybe other animals and other creatures and all kinds of living beings may not have a brain. So we should use our brain towards increasing sattva, controlling rajasic, and destroying tamasic. Okay. And also Lord Brahma says that never ever you will see only a sattva quality, or only a rajas quality, and only a tamas quality. Okay, all these three gunas will be there, intermingled in every living human being. And of course, like I said, a human being has a brain, so he can have an objective of increasing sattva, controlling rajasic, and destroying tamasic. Okay. And what sage Narada was told again by Lord Brahma is, say for example, one hears of sacred places or a place of pilgrimage, and he's filled with rajasic devotion. So here, very interestingly, Lord Brahma has also categorized devotion also, a rajasic devotion and a sattvic devotion. So he said that in case somebody hears of a pilgrimage and is filled with rajasic devotion, so he'll go out to those places, those pilgrimages, those sacred places, and he makes offerings to those places or gods or whoever. Say for example it's a temple, so that particular god, or any kind of a pilgrimage, he will make offerings and of rajasic gifts. He'll stay there for some time, but he will do that under the influence of his rajasic quality, not of sattvic. And when he comes back home from these places of pilgrimages, he comes back to the same state of mind which he was, which is, he'll still have lust, he'll still have some anger, he'll still have love and hatred, just like the normal rajasic qualities. But he'll go to those pilgrimages, and while he's there, he'll make offerings and gifts, and then once he's back to his place where he lives, then again he'll be overwhelmed with the same rajasic qualities which we had before. Okay, so Lord Brahma is saying that he actually does not get a lot of benefit out of visiting those pilgrimages. I mean, it's good that he's going, but real benefit is not felt by people who are rajasic quality people. Okay, and Lord Brahma says that if these pilgrimages does not enable one to overcome the passions of the body and the mind, then what is the point of going to these places? Well, it is good, he's saying it is good, but the benefits he will not receive. Going to those places would be in vain. So what he's saying is, try to make sure that your sattvic qualities are more prominent in you, and the rajasic is less. Okay, that's what Lord Brahma is trying to tell Narada. Okay, and he says that the other reason why a rajasic person goes to a place of pilgrimage is because he expects something out of it. Okay, and what happens is, then when he comes back and the expectations are not fulfilled, then again, it gives him pain instead of happiness, real happiness. All right, so it is something like Lord Brahma has tried to compare it to a farmer. He's making a comparison of a rajasic person going to a pilgrimage, and he's comparing it to a situation of a farmer. that a farmer, in expectation of the harvest, undergoes a good deal of pains day and night to protect his fields. And when he sleeps in the cold season, there's a forest surrounded by tigers and other dangerous animals. They come and destroy his crops. Okay, and there are locusts also, those insects which destroy farms and the crops. They come and eat away and destroy the crops as well. And ultimately there's disappointment to the farmer. So he's trying to kind of relate it. He's giving an analogy here that a person who is rajasic goes to places of pilgrimages, but when he comes back he has that same qualities. So what he has to do is overcome the rajasic quality, get more into the sattvic mode. Only then his pain and effort in going to the places of worship or pilgrimages can bring fruit, because then only he'll be extremely happy. Otherwise, he'll come back with the same rajasic qualities, goes there, he has expectations, he undertakes a lot of pain in the pilgrimage, goes there, worships there, comes back, and then he has the same qualities. So, the effort goes vain. All right. So Lord Brahma says that in case the sattva quality grows in abundance, then basically he gets real pleasure. And how does the sattvic quality grow? That's also Lord Brahma has explained, that it is as a result of reading Vedanta and other shastras, the Vedas, the Puranas, the Samhitas, all the shastras, the Vedic shastras and Vedic scriptures have to be read. And once a person starts reading those, like what we are discussing here, that stories from the Puranas, or knowledge from the Puranas rather, these are not stories, these are real incidences and real knowledge from the Puranas, then slowly the sattva quality grows in abundance. Okay, and then dispassion comes towards the rajasic and tamasic qualities, and the sattva overpowers the rajas and the tamas-gunas. Okay, so it's more sattva-guna when you start reading the ancient scriptures, Vedic scriptures, and rajas and tamas, as a result of those, will be subdued. Okay, and rajas is, of course, we know when rajas quality grows in abundance, it's greed, it's about money and enjoyment. Okay, as we know that if you relate it to the planets in the Vedic astrology, people who are familiar with Vedic astrology, it's Venus is about enjoyment and Mercury is about money. So if rajas overpowers the other two, sattva and tamas, then it's all about greed and making money and enjoyment. Okay, so that is not going to bring real happiness. So Lord Brahma again says that in case sattva quality grows, the mind is more focused on religious ideas, because as a result of reading religious and Vedic scriptures, his mind is focused more on religious ideas. Okay, and he wants to enjoy the sattvic things. Now sattva is also related to wealth as per Lord Brahma, but the wealth is pure wealth. It's not wealth created out of greed. Wealth is not a bad thing. Goddess Lakshmi is a very sattvic energy. She's about wealth, but that's purity in wealth. It's not about greed. Okay, so a person who has more sattvic qualities also will have wealth, and he will be focused in getting wealth through fair means. Okay, not unfair or bad means. He'll be focused towards religious affairs and religious sacrifices, which can be performed without any trouble. So the wealth comes to a sattvic person. Very important here. Very, very, very important. Wealth comes to a sattvic person automatically without any trouble. That's also said by Lord Brahma. So what does it teach us? That, okay, well, if you're sattvic, it's not that you're going to be just, focused towards doing religious things. Wealth is also going to come to you in a nice way, in a positive way, which will give you pleasure and happiness without any trouble. Okay? And that person focuses more on the final objective. And what is the final objective? Lord Brahma says is attaining salvation or moksha. Okay, so eventually what Lord Brahma is telling Narada is that first try to conquer the rajas. So in terms of a sequence, he says first conquer the rajas quality, then conquer the tamas quality, and then sattva becomes pure automatically. Okay, so the problem with rajasic qualities is that when it grows too much, he abandons his dharma. Okay, and he goes against religion. He just goes and visited pilgrimages just for some kind of a desire or some expectations, comes back and he's the same with rajasic qualities. Okay, with rajasic qualities, one wants to amass wealth, okay, and enjoy the things. That is the problem. Now in case tamas quality grows or tamasic quality grows in abundance, then the person doesn't even go and visit pilgrimages. His faith in the Vedas and religious scriptures, the Shastras, it just disappears. It goes away completely. He imbibes the tamasic faith and he wastes all his wealth and is always engaged in, envy, jealousy, quarrels, finding fault with others, sleeping, laziness. That is the problem. He'll never enjoy peace. And one with tamasic qualities in excess also becomes very wicked in nature. Okay, he can become a great cheat as well. Does everything. And the planet which is associated with tamasic quality, there are different planets, but one of the planets very, very clearly is the planet Rahu. Okay, a great cheat. People who are familiar with Vedic astrology. And he just does what he wants to do, and he is always lazy, hates people, is envious, quarrelsome, finding faults. But at the same time, Lord Brahma is telling Narada that a person cannot stay with one guna. Like a person has to have three gunas, like you see on the screen. There is an overlap. All these gunas are there in a person. All these three gunas are there in a person. It's just our objective to make sure that sattvic is more predominant. There should be a little rajasic, because you sometimes need to try to subdue rajasic as much as possible, but there still will be some kind of a rajasic qualities which will have you, since you're living this modern day and age. But then the third should be completely destroyed. It will never be destroyed technically, because it will always stay. Lord Brahma says that all these three gunas will stay. A person just has to subdue the other two. Okay, the sattva quality can never exist without the rajas quality. Very importantly said by Lord Brahma. The rajas quality can never exist without the tamas quality, and these two qualities, which is rajas and tamas, cannot exist without the sattvic quality. So they're all intermingled. All right. So sattva and rajas also cannot exist without tamas. There has to be a relationship between these three. Which is predominant, or which should be made predominant, is what is our primary objective. And Lord Brahma says it has to be sattva qualities. Okay, so just he's given an analogy, like just like a husband and wife get as a couple, the qualities get into the couples. So that's what Lord Brahma is explaining to sage Narada. Okay, and once again, this is coming directly from from the scriptures, from the Puranas rather. And I'm not going to go ahead and confuse you more. So far, this is enough for you to ponder on. And hopefully you enjoyed this video on the Puranas. And meanwhile, I will recommend subscribe to my channel, check out my website. There is a link below, and I will see you with an interesting topic. I'll see you with an interesting topic in either Vedic astrology or stories from the Puranas in my next session very soon. Goodbye.